Jimmy Carter, our 39th president, the 39th president of the United States, had passed away late last month. December 29th, I believe it was. The man lived at 100 years old. That's 100 years old, guys. So that's blessings to him. Um, so they had obviously had a funeral, and people were up in arms with seeing Trump and Obama sitting right next to each other. So we're gonna watch the video and see what the big fuss was. Everyone covered it. CNN, Fox, even Charlemagne had some choice word for the whole situation. Um, I was a little surprised. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little surprised as well. But you gotta remember, guys, these guys are all friends. They all speak to each other for the most part. Um, so I'm not totally surprised, but I am surprised. I was a little surprised. Um, but here we're gonna see the interaction, and uh we're gonna try to decipher what they said, because we were lip reading. We can't really tell what they're saying, but I'm sure some joker online is gonna have uh, a mimic translation. But let's see the interaction. It was interesting.
Cathedral right now. We have seen, I think this is the first president that we've seen come into the room. We are still waiting, of course, for Bush and Clinton and Obama, as well. There is Donald Trump and Mike Pence.
Wait a minute. Is that Mike Pence? Wait a minute. Was that Mike Pence back there? Let's see this.
And Obama.
Yeah, that's Pence. This, the funeral, shout out to Jimmy Carter and his family. Rest in peace and our best wishes. But this was a soap opera going on in that corner. You got Trump and Pence. Later on, we're going to have Hillary, Kamala, Obama, all within 10 feet of each other. You even got the security details. These boys are security. You could tell these boys are security. They're looking, even they're concerned a little bit. They're like, wait, these motherfuckers, they talk so much crap about each other. We hope they don't just start throwing hands. We hope they don't just start, hey. No way. Now, personally, uncomfortable situations like this, I don't really fuck with it, chat. I don't know, man. I can't be this fake. I cannot be. That's why politicians are, to some extent, you gotta give them their prop. These motherfuckers are professional liars, fake niggas. Let me tell you, I thought rappers was bad with the lying. I thought rappers, because the rappers are just professional liars, right? They will lie and they lie and they lie about everything until they could get there. And then they lie about another position they're not until they get there. So it's wishful thinking mixed with a little bit of lie and a little bit of hopeful thinking. So that's what a rapper is. But politicians there are a different breed of people. To be able to be that fake, y'all talk so much crap and then be in each other's face. Now, Pence's face is not faking it now, and that's why I think Pence was not. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't play the game right. He doesn't have the fakery and the bullshit that you need to be a politician like Trump. I always wonder, how does Trump function with a million lawsuit, an election? These are all hard things. These are all very difficult things because you gotta win over people, people's opinion, people's vote, etc. You gotta win those people over, so it makes it very difficult. But Trump is putting a masterclass demonstration of being a politician. And he lie, he bullshit, he does all of it as well. But this was interesting. This was interesting. Now, R.I.P. to our ex-president, but this is the foolery here, guys.
Well, there is Donald Trump and Mike Pence. Al Gore, the former vice president, Pence and Trump, it's the first time they've seen each other since January 2021. A lot of tension between the two then, and
very cordial. I like it. I'm proud of it. I'm shout out to them, because would have to throw some hands, man. Especially all the stuff you said about me, would have to throw some hands. I'm not sitting, Nick. This is having Chirac, all the ops in one aisle. This is nuts.
It didn't look particularly warm just now, one might observe. In any case, this is the first president of many that we're expecting. Of course, we expect President Biden to deliver eulogy. President Biden, back when he was a senator,
Biden is still trying to figure out where he's at. Biden, I hope they just sit Biden down and let him do, because Biden is not gonna do anything. Okay, Biden's at the point where right now he's just riding out. He's coasting and happy to be gone. They were putting the man through, you know what I'm saying? It's like not being able to lift a certain weight. You go to the gym, you can't lift 200 pounds, and then we're pretending you can lift 200 pounds. But we're not seeing you lifting it. We're just hearing your friends tell, yeah, man, he just lifted last night. He just lifted this morning. Yeah, man, he was just about, you just missed it. He was just about to do it. That's gonna take a toll on you. It makes Biden tired of the fakery. He's tired of faking being the president. He's ready to go.
He and Jimmy Carter shared a political advisor, Pat Caddell. And Pat Caddell, there's former President Obama walking in. First Lady Michelle Obama is not going to be with him.
There goes Obama. And that's where stuff got interested, because Obama came through and watched where he sat.
Today. But here he is joining the club, saying hello to Mike Pence, saying hello to Mike Pence's wife Karen, saying hello to Al Gore. We did not see a greeting of or by President Trump. There he is saying hi to Marilyn Quayle. Did shake hands?
He did shake.
He shook. Okay.
I don't know, bro. I feel like that's OG. He passed them, didn't say nothing, but when it sat right next to him.
President Obama did say hello to Marilyn Quayle and former Vice President Dan Quayle.
Oh, that's such an image.
That is an image.
It's
I mean,
good,
you don't
good
see
image.
for it's always.
And they talking like they, yo, what up, bro? Hey, listen, man. You left early yesterday, man. You getting a little old. And then, Obama like, nah, bro. Michelle was tripping, man. Michelle was like, I'm out the house too much. I had to get home, man. I'm out the house too much. Especially I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? We're just living it up now, you know what I'm saying? But congrats on the win, though. They talking like friends.
Striking whenever you see any of these people who were political opponents although Obama and Trump never ran against each other. Here's George W. Bush.
And there goes Bush. Bush walking there like the freaking like the manager of the fucking way. You know how they're having a meeting and then the manager walk in? That's how Bush walk in there like, I'm about to lay down the law. Golly.
First Lady Laura Bush.
Wait, did he just pass Obama? And nah, there's a lot of beef going on here.
Interesting how Barack Obama stood up to let them through. Again, saying hello to the former vice presidents, Al Gore, Mike Pence.
You see, Bush shaking all their hand and ignored Obama.
I do not think former President Bush or Laura Bush shook hands with.
He ignored Obama. We didn't miss that.
Walked right past it.
I would Trumps.
I would
right
find that
Yeah.
very surprising if they didn't. Maybe we didn't see that.
We might not have seen it. The angle keeps shifting back.
Nah, we seen it. We seen it all. We seen them past Trump. My dude put his chest out and walked right past Trump, his wife, and Obama, and sat down. We seen him do it. So whatever's going on there is going on there. You know what I'm saying? Obama reading like he ain't reading nothing. Obama ain't reading. You know how you're in church or something and you just let me just keep my eye on this. You know what I'm saying? Go you at school or something and you know, a little baddie looking at you or something and you too shy, you know. You just let me just keep my eye on this book right here where it's good and dandy. It's nuts, man. It's crazy. So
Back and forth.
Right. I'd still have it.
Let's see.
But you see Barack Obama.
Trump sharing.
and
Look,
Trump
they
having
flipping. They're not
what seems
reading
like
anything.
friendly chit chat. There's
Okay.
former President Bill
Now
Clinton.
there goes
with, First Lady and Secretary of State
top boss
Hillary
Hillary.
Clinton walking around. On
And
the
Bush
other
stood
side is,
up.
Of course, the
Bush stood up
closest
and
to
didn't even get a
the
handshake.
seats, but also avoids the potential awkwardness of a moment between the Trumps and the Clintons that might not be as warm as the ones she's having with the former vice presidents. Let's go to Caitlin
Ignore.
Collins,
And
who's
it's so
outside of the
interesting
people.
how they put all these
Check
people
this
right
out.
next
I'm
to
gonna
each
show you how I
other.
afforded this card.
Right next to each other. It's just Obama is sitting there looking as confused as could be because he stood up for Bush and Bush it's just shade after shade after shade over here. But let's finish watching this real quick.
You don't see hardly ever. And just to go back to that moment where Trump walked
Now
into
again,
the room
Michelle
and
not
shook
here.
hands with Mike Pence, that is
Probably
the
would have
first
been more
interaction
shade, better shade
that those
going
two
on.
have had. They have not even been in the same room in 4 years. I called to just double check that this morning with a few aides of both of theirs, and it just was a moment to see them come and shake hands with one another. And Jeff, obviously, to see this moment, Jeff, you covered President Obama. To see the two of them speaking to one another, seated next to one another, which I don't think they have been at one of these funerals or gatherings where they've been in the same room before.
They have not. It truly is extraordinary.
Hillary
The last
looking
time,
like
most
head-
of them were in the same room
head
was
bitch
in
in charge,
2018
man.
at the funeral of George H.W. Bush. President Trump was in office
Obama
then.
cooling
One
it.
person missing from this is Michelle Obama. I'm told by her advisors that she had a scheduling conflict. She's actually still in Hawaii from an extended holiday
don't know
vacation.
why he's here.
So she's missing there. But if you look from these presidents,
Bill Clinton
they are
said, I
linked
took 2 edibles for
one to
this.
another
I'm
to
straight. I'm
another. That's
ready.
how it works, of course. And
Beautiful,
Hillary Clinton
beautiful
seeing her
church.
there. And Jimmy Carter, as you
Beautiful
remember,
church.
Casey, we covered the Bernie Sanders campaign. Jimmy
did.
Carter supported him over her. So there are so many rifts between
President of the United States. Obviously, one Clinton serving,
Them boys
the other
talking a lot.
running. And this extended conversation between Donald Trump and Barack Obama, just so fascinating, especially when you think about
Hey
how
man,
some of the things that Donald Trump said and did while Obama was president.
I
while your point is taken,
mean
they
to
didn't
say all
run
that
against each
all
other.
that stuff I said, man. You know, I just had to do what I had to do. And then walks in Kamala.
and Doug Emhoff also entering the room. Harris was right behind President Biden in her motorcade.
Didn't say hi to
so we should
nobody.
expect to see him soon
Not
as well.
yet.
And as we know, we're thinking as
Obama's
Gerald
looking,
Ford's son is going to
and
be
you could
reading
tell
his
there's
words,
beef
his eulogy.
Because look at her face. She just did that. She thought they were gonna talk to her, went right back to normal, and Obama's like, "Hey man, you know, I did what I could for her. I did what I could for her." But Trump like, "Yo man, don't worry about it, cause you know you can't please you can't please these hoes, man. You can't please them." Trump said, "I had to pay one. And got in trouble for it. Cash money." Melania sit there like a statue. She's just down for the ride. But you know, it's very interesting, man. These are the people that rule the world the last, you know, couple decades here. Last 30, 40 years. Yeah, close to 30 years. These are all of them right here.
The President's Club. That said, can't be easy for people in that group who have heard nasty things said about them.
Bill Clinton's still talking about that edible kicking in right now. Hillary, like, I told you,
by
nigga.
one or another of the people present.
You can't do.
Whether
Yeah,
somebody saying that
good
Trump is an
stuff.
existential
Yeah, kick that.
threat to democracy, or some of the more vicious things said about Barack Obama and where he was born, and on and on. But it is a funeral, and it is a moment where people try to put aside such grievances.
Man, it's so much
for the larger
pride in
purpose.
this area right here.
But it conjured up a memory that I have from Bush 41's funeral, when all the former presidents, former first families, everybody were seated. George W. Bush was one of the last people to come in the room before the sitting president, of course. And he went and shook every single person's hand of his former club and former first ladies. And again, it does, yes, this is a reverent moment, of course, but it does take a person of character to sort of change that tone.
I just want to, it's not happening right now, but I just want to emphasize that until 30 seconds ago, Donald Trump was talking to Barack Obama's ear off.
Yes.
His ear off.
I like.
Yeah, they were. Trump is talking to him like, "Yo, bro, it's good to see you, man. Like, bro, we good, son. We don't got, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna leave that to rap. Yeah, we're gonna leave it we're gonna leave it on wax. We good."
I like seeing that,
And
actually.
well, I'm not sure how much Barack Obama liked it, but he was being gracious and you know, classy as one does. And now, of course, he's turned around and he's talking to the man who was Donald Trump's vice president, but was not chosen
Mike Pence.
For this particular time after.
Damn right, he wasn't chosen. Mike Pence dipped when things got crazy, and you know, but shout out to Trump for staying in there, and you know, the man is not a loser, man. He don't quit. He don't quit. But I thought that was funny how they all in there and just keeping a straight face. But in honor of Jimmy Carter, we're gonna watch his grandson give a quick eulogy. We're gonna kind of fast forward through it. We don't want to stay on this topic too long because we've been on it long enough already. But we want to show some respect and not make this about the tense rivalry politic that was in the room. We want to show respect to the man. So here.
In my church,
and this is
we sing a song
his grandson,
that says,
Jason.
"From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God." I don't know how many people in here can say that. I know I can't. but my grandfather certainly can. From the moment that he woke up until he laid his head, his life was a testament to the goodness of God. And I thank all of you for being here to celebrate this life. To the presidents and first ladies, it is a great honor to have you here. You know the human side of the American presidency like no others, and we appreciate you. To the vice presidents, other distinguished guests, and friends of all kinds, thank you for being here. To those of you who came from all across the world, thank you for being here to celebrate and pay tribute to my grandfather.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, what?
We're gonna apologize for the commercial, but it happens. YouTube.
But we called him Pawpaw, as many of you know. We called my grandmother Mom Carter, so we spent our time talking about Mom and Pawpaw, and mostly, speaking of the human side of the presidency, just letting people know that they were regular folks. Yes, they spent 4 years in the governor's mansion and 4 years at the White House, but the other 92 years they spent at home in Plains, Georgia. And one of the best ways to demonstrate that they were regular folks is to take them by that home. First of all, it looks like they might have built it themselves. Second of all, my grandfather was likely to show up at the door in some 70s short shorts and Crocs. And then you'd walk in the house and it was like thousands of other grandparents' house all across the South. Fishing trophies on the walls. The refrigerator, of course, was papered with pictures of grandchildren and then great-grandchildren. Their main phone, of course, had a cord and was stuck to the wall in the kitchen, like a museum piece. And demonstrating their Depression-era roots, they had a little rack next to the sink where they would hang Ziploc bags to dry. And demonstrating that.
That's like that described my grandma's house right there. You know, grandma always have the little hanging paper towels and Ziploc bags or freaking something they wash that you don't need to wash. You could just throw that thing away. But, you know, shout out to grandparents, man.
They changed with the times. Eventually, he did get a cell phone, and one time he called me sort of early on in that process. And on my phone, it said, Pawpaw Mobile. So I answered it, of course. I said, hey, Pawpaw. He said, who's this? I said, this is Jason. He said, what are you doing? I said, I'm not doing anything. You called me. He said, I didn't call you. I'm taking a picture. It was a nuclear engineer, right? I mean, they were small town people who never forgot who they were and where they were from, no matter what happened in their lives. But I recognize that we are not here because he was just a regular guy. As you've heard from the other speakers, his political life and his presidency for me was not just ahead of its time, it was prophetic. He had the courage and strength to stick to his principles even when they were politically unpopular. As governor of Georgia half a century ago, he preached an end to racial discrimination and an end to mass incarceration. As president in the 1970s, as you've heard, he protected more land than any other president in history. 50 years ago, he was a climate warrior who pushed for a world where we conserved energy, limited emissions, and traded our reliance on fossil fuels for expanded renewable sources. And by the way, he cut the deficit, wanted to decriminalize marijuana, deregulated so many industries that he gave us cheap flights and, as you heard, craft beer. Basically, all of those years ago, he was the first millennial. And he could make great playlists, as we've heard as well. Maybe this is unbelievable to you, but in my 49 years, I never perceived a difference between his public face and his private one. He was the same person no matter who he was with or where he was. And for me,
He was a real one.
that's the definition of integrity.
He was a real one.
That honesty was matched by love, it was matched by faith. And in both public and private, my grandparents did fundamentally live their lives in an effort, as the Bible says, to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with their God. Sometimes I feel and felt like I shared my grandfather with the world. Today is one of those days. But really, he shared the world with me. The power of an atom, the beauty and complexity of a South Georgia forest. When we fished, he celebrated the majesty of everything from the smallest minnow to that grand circulation of waters. And he shared this love with my boys, taking these Atlanta public school kids out into the fields to show them about row crops and wild plums. In the end, his life is a love story. And of course, it's a love story about Jimmy and Rosalind and their 77 years of marriage and service. As the song says, they were the flagship of the fleet. And rest assured that in these last weeks, he told us that he was ready to see her again. But his life was also a broader love story, about love for his fellow humans and about living out the commandment to love your neighbor as yourself. I believe that that love is what taught him and told him to preach the power of human rights, not just for some people, but for all people. It focused him on the power and the promise of democracy, its love for freedom, its requirement and founding belief in the wisdom of regular people raising their voices, and the requirement that you respect all of those voices, not just some. That conviction made him a naval officer who believed and demonstrated, as you've heard, that the greatest power of America was not the military, but its values. And those values were personal to him, and he lived them both publicly and privately. As you heard Stu say, as president, he gave voice to dissidents, stood up to dictators, brought countries together in peace. His heart broke for the people of Israel. It broke for the people of Palestine, and he spent his life trying to bring peace to that holy land. And he talked about it at the dinner table. It was the same in public as it was in private. And for the last 40 years, as you've heard, he spent his time living out that love and that faith alongside the poorest and most marginalized people in the world. And that work, again, has been based fundamentally on love and respect.
Hold on, before you pay for yet another app to manage your team, let me introduce you to Connect Team, the one.
Again, we apologize for the commercial, but that's very interesting. You know, you see how his grandson just kind of humanize him and give us a view of what it was like to be around him all the time.
Of regular
Rest in
people,
peace.
even
Rest in
if
peace,
they are-
our president, Jimmy Carter. And shout out to his grandson, Jason Carter, for this heartfelt eulogy.